It's the Rookie again. Just wanted to do a short video on the Boss Gen 2. I use it for lifting concrete as well as spraying foam, and I feel that it's pretty conducive. It works pretty well. It's a simple setup. Uses a Packer port just like the mechanical purge guns, like the PMC and the Graco. This Packer port's flat on the top. There's no dimple like the mechanical purge guns. The same kind of basically shape and everything. It just goes together with these pretty simple vice grips. Really just real simple setup here. I like this setup because when you clamp this on, you can position these. Vice grips in whatever way is conducive. So if you're up close against a building like so, you can put those vice grips to the back or to the side or whatever. As well as, one of the things that's conducive about the air purge is when you're injecting, you can kind of predict sometimes what the foam is going to do based on that air flowing under the slab. Like sometimes it might, you might hear the air over here, you might see some smoke, or it might be over this way. I just feel like sometimes it's a little bit more predictable when you're lifting. And so that's some of the advantages of, or at least one of the advantage of this air purge gun. Another thing is when you're lifting, and you feel like the foam is, you can kind of hear the foam because it's, when you're done pulling the trigger, you're going to hear the foam sometimes still moving towards, let's say, this crack over here, for example. And it's coming, and it's coming quick, and the air is kind of pushing it along, maybe even faster. Sometimes I'll come back here to this vice grip and disconnect it real fast to slow that movement down of the foam underneath the slab, because sometimes what will happen is it'll be like Old Faithful. That foam will want to shoot out all over the place. I don't really see any foam coming out in this section or at the top of the gun, or at the side where the hole is in the concrete. I really don't see that a lot, as much as I see, let's say, foam wanting to fountain out of these cracks, or foam wanting to, fountain out other, relief cuts or whatever. So that's just one of the things I do to kind of control that fountain of foam, is to just quick release that vice grip real fast. And before that foam sets up, I generally put the air back on that port, so I'm not re-drilling that hole again and letting things set up, so that I can still use that Packer port in that hole. The disadvantage, it seems, to the air purge so far to me is the fact that I'm constantly buying these things. That's a never-ending expense. Luckily, the manufacturer is right here in Des Moines, and I just go down there, and today I bought 600 of these Packer ports, because you can spend an easy 50 bucks on one job, as opposed to buying either the stainless steel ones or just the regular steel ports for the mechanical purge. And so that's kind of the rundown on the Boss gun. So if you're thinking about lifting or starting to lift concrete, and you have a Boss gun, by all means, go for it. Just remember that these, once the foam's set up in those Packer ports, those are done. They're disposable. I've tried using the ones without the check ball in it, but that's more for the mechanical purge gun. And that's pretty much the biggest disadvantage so far, especially if you forget to re-drill. Let's say you want to go back to a hole. Here's one of my old holes from lifting my driveway. If I were to go back to this hole and lift it again, let's say a couple minutes after injecting here, I would have to re-drill through that first layer of foam to be able to use that hole again. If you forget to do that, you're going to foam the whole gun up. I forgot to do that one time, and I had foam clear back into my airline probably, 1 or 2 feet back into my airline. That was the worst one I ever did, but it's because I didn't re-drill the hole, and I didn't realize I just forgot about it. So it's very important to set your used ones off to the side after you're injecting, chuck them in the grass, and then I just count them later, because I count all my expenses, you know, like how many pack reports I used, how many hours I ran my generator, how many hours I ran my air compressor, my air dryer, how many stroke counts, all that stuff. I put it in the Excel spreadsheet and just keep track of everything. So that's just the biggest thing you got to be careful, is letting your foam set up too long in this pack report. I give it at the most, very most, 20 seconds if I can't hear the air. If I can hear the air coming through somewhere else, then you know you're good to go. But if you don't hear air coming out anywhere, it's done. You're done. So just a little quick rundown on the Boss Gen 2 as a lifting gun. I'm going to try the PMC mechanical purge a little bit later this week with Rebecca from SPI. I use SPI's foam, good foam, clean foam, never had a problem with it. So it's I'm pretty excited to check that out. Thanks to Lynn Mether for sending that with her to do that, and I appreciate you, Rebecca, for swinging through my area and screwing around here with the mechanical purge. So we'll see you later, and thanks guys for watching.